We are all different when it comes to productivity tools that help us move the needle. Some people prefer handwritten to-do lists and sticky note reminders. Others lean into digital tools that keep everything in one place. If you belong to the latter group, one of my absolute favorites you may want to check out is Todoist. Whether you're running a business, raising a family, writing a book, Todoist helps you organize your tasks by projects, priority, and even energy level. So you can set recurring reminders, create custom labels like at errands or at deep work, color code what is urgent and what is not, sync across all your devices so you always have your plan in your pocket. It's like a personal assistant but without the monthly invoice. If you are tired of rewriting your to-do list every day and want something that helps you focus on what matters most, give Todoist a try. It's simple, it's powerful, and flexible enough to work with your brain and your busy life. Click on the link on this episode show notes to get you started. And since you are here, I thought I'd let you know of a storybook to gift your favorite kids. Once upon a time, and they lived happily ever after. Children love those phrases. I love them too, and I suspect you may love them too. As a mom, I've spent hours reading and listening to my children read their favorite stories, and now I write stories too. Here is one of them you may want to check out. The Proud Sunflower. It is the story of Princess Sanzu, the Sunflower Princess, a princess loved by all, but who got into trouble. Within the pages of The Proud Sunflower, you encounter what real beauty is. Your kid will love the beautiful story and powerful illustrations. The Proud Sunflower serves as a gentle reminder that we all need to stand on the shoulders of others to succeed. So, read this story with your little ones and allow it to illuminate the universal language of empathy, forgiveness, and personal growth. The Proud Sunflower is a top book of parenting, morals, and responsibility, and it's available on the Kindle store and on paperback formats. Excellent for beginner readers. Click in this episode show notes or in the description on YouTube to order yours. And check out my other storybooks to read with your kids, or gift a child a storybook if you do not have kids of your own.
Clutter is anything that keeps you from navigating your life with ease. So whatever that looks like for you, because the level of clutter that is okay for people varies. You think of the messy professor and, the books piled in the corner. And then there are some people that can't stand any piles. Their brain just shuts down. They have to have a clean surface. So anything that's clogging your life.
Welcome to the Minute Mastery Podcast, a conversational productivity and time management podcast where busy authors and entrepreneurs are inspired to create time for what truly matters. I'm your host, Ngozi Edema. I'm a time management coach, writer, and entrepreneur. Here, you are encouraged to turn your minutes into milestones and to create at least 1 hour a day working on your goals without feeling overwhelmed. My guest today is Kerry Thomas, the owner of Conquer the Chaos and someone who knows firsthand how clutter, both physical and mental, can hold us back. With a background in special education and 2 degrees from the University of Florida, Kerry has a unique lens on how our learning styles can impact the way we organize, manage time, and get things done. Since 2007, she's been helping entrepreneurs, especially those with ADD, ditch the overwhelm and create systems that actually work for real people. I really love that. I love dishing the overwhelm. Thank you for coming to the Minute Mastery, Kerry.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So to get us started, how do you define clutter? And why does it have such a powerful effect on our lives, our time, and our productivity?
Excellent question. So I define clutter 2 ways. The first one is a tried and true statement from one of my mentors. I actually mentioned this definition of clutter in my TED Talk, and that is clutter is postponed decisions. So it builds up because we're not making a decision on whether it's a piece of paper, whether it's clothing or food in the pantry, or we're just not making a decision. Are we going to keep this, let go of it? Where should I put it? So clutter is postponed decisions. And then my own definition that has grown over the years and truly speaks to the individuality of clutter is that clutter is anything that keeps you from navigating your life with ease. So whatever that looks like for you, because the level of clutter that is okay for people varies. You think of the messy professor and, the books piled in the corner. And then there are some people that can't stand any piles. Their brain just shuts down. They have to have a clean surface. So anything that's clogging your life, keeping you from living the life you're supposed to lead, keeping you from living out your purpose, all of those things can be clutter.
Thank you so much. That reminds me when I first I self-published my books. And when I was trying to get to understand how self-publishing works, I took a course on self-publishing, on how to go about it, and just generally what to expect. And in the first module of that course, the advice was, first of all, clear your decks of clutter. And I was like, really? Clear your decks of clutter. And over time, I came to understand why that would be the starting point.
Yeah. Clears your mind.
Clear your decks of clutter. Because how many times do I want to get on something, and because of some clutter on my decks or even in my pantry, because most of the time I work on my dining table or my kitchen table, I just put my laptop there and I work. Someone coming and opening the pantry is a reminder to me that there's something that needs to be done there. And I leave what I'm doing and I'm walking to the pantry to go and check those things out and wasting time.
Yeah.
So if we can make the decision to do clean up things around us, it helps us to be more productive.
It does.
So, yeah. So most people only think of clutter as too much stuff, but you teach that there are several types of clutter.
Yes.
Can you walk us through the different forms of clutter people experience and which one surprises people the most?
Sure. So there is the physical clutter, the environmental clutter. That's what we've been talking about. So that's the piles of things, whether in your home, your car, your garage. It's the stuff, right? Could be storage units. That's a whole separate category. So the physical or the environmental clutter. There is also digital clutter, which has become a big problem in the last decade because the physical clutter, and if it bothers us and it's clogging our life, we see it. So it's a reminder. Digital clutter, we can close the laptop, close the computer, and it doesn't really go away, but we can avoid it. So that's another type of clutter. There's also what I call internal clutter. So that is mental clutter, the things that run through your mind at 3 a.m, all of the things that you're bombarded with from outside, whether it's family members, news, just all of that stuff. That can also become emotional clutter, which is when we're not expressing ourselves or we're not truly using our voice and living authentically. I know that's a little bit like overused in the coaching world today, but it's a very real thing that can keep us from living the way we're supposed to live. And then all of those things can combine and even cause spiritual clutter, where you no longer believe in something outside of you, or you're not living the way you want to be living and you're questioning. All of those things can be spiritual clutter. So just to make it simple, I usually break down into those main categories. So the physical, the digital, and then the internal clutter. But there's lots of types of clutter. So in businesses, there are systems clutter. You have a lot of duplicates. You have, 3 task management softwares. You don't need that. That's systems clutter. There can be noise clutter. There can be lots of different, if you want to break it down very small. But overall, if you think of the physical, the digital, and the internal, that covers most of it.
I just want to ask a side question, like the different types of clutter, because I have never really seen emotional clutter, like when you're going through difficult times with maybe family members. I've never looked at it, I've never seen it as clutter, but you explaining it now, I realize that it is a massive clutter because it can stop you from doing anything
It
because
can.
it consumes your time and consumes your entire life and you don't want to do anything. So in your experience, does one type of clutter affect the other type of clutter? For instance, does emotional clutter affect your physical clutter?
Completely, completely. No doubt at all. So they both affect each other. So, and that's good and bad news. The good news is because they affect each other, if you start working on one area, and I'm going like this because I always hold my hands up and I talk to my clients about it being a wheel. And so if you start working in one area, let's say your kitchen, we've
Okay.
all experienced that feeling of this is so neat and organized now. And, oh, I can find what I need. And like, I get that a lot from clients, like, oh, I can breathe again, which clears a little bit of that internal clutter, makes it able to think easier, makes it able to make decisions. And if we start with internal clutter, I teach and offer my clients what I call an internal clutter toolkit. So it starts with your thoughts and your mindset, but then there are additional tools that you can use, and those vary from client to client. But if you start with the internal clutter, let's say you start journaling and it leads you to having conversations that you've been postponing, again, postponed decision, then it fuels you to make the changes in your physical environment. So no matter where you start, it's going to positively impact all areas of your life and all types of clutter. And like I said, it's good and bad news because the same thing happens. In reverse, I work with many clients, many who they have shame because they feel that their environment or their work life or their digital, whatever it is, there's no such thing as should, but that it should be organized and they can't get back on track. But so many of these people, what's happened is they've had an illness, they've gone through divorce, they've had a death in the family, they've had other types of traumatic events or very upsetting events. And so when we go through those things, if you've ever experienced that, you don't care so much about your physical environment anymore. And then one day, most recent client I'm thinking of, it was 5 years later, she sort of looked around and said, okay, I'm ready to make some big major changes here, but I need help because now I've gotten buried under this clutter. So it does affect you both
Hmm,
ways.
both ways. So clutter can overwhelm us. So when
Complete.
someone is feeling completely overwhelmed by their clutter, both it could be either a messy space or mental chaos, where do you recommend that they start? Internal clutter or external clutter? And why?
It it doesn't really matter because of that wheel. So I have a conversation with my clients to really find out about how they tick and how their brain works because everybody is going to answer that question a little bit differently. But for the listeners, you can ask yourself, are you the kind of person that wants to dive in and do a huge thing to really feel that you've gotten over the hump and you've got the momentum? Or are you the kind of person that's going to say, you know what, for 10 minutes every evening, I'm going to declutter some things, throw some things away. So you know which of those are best for you. You also know where to start. Do I need to start with my papers? Is that going to make, for a lot of people, that helps them feel more in control when they get their papers situated and they know they're not missing bills or
Mhm.
missing something important, or conversely, a check to deposit. So some people want to start with papers. Some people, if you think of your whole house, for some people, they truly do best if they start with the kitchen. Kitchen, we call it the heart of the home, that type of thing, because they're in it a lot. Other people really want to start with their bedroom because that's their sanctuary. So I have a lot of conversations with my clients. We talk about your vision, how you want to feel in your space. And then I help them make a plan from there. But the key being, if you start, there's no wrong way to start. If you start, you will have some momentum and you will go forward. I suggest that people actually schedule it, put it on the calendar, even if it's 10 minutes twice a week. There are a couple things that can really help. Having a friend, either could be even on the phone. You just put it on speaker and you chat. You say, okay, for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to go through my closet. I want to talk to you and catch up on life, but you're here supporting me. That is, it's insane how much it can help. So just start.
So what it means now is that one size does not fit. One size does.
No, I do a webinar a few times a year called Organizing Basics, where I do talk about just some things that are more global, but there truly is no one size fits all.
So in your program, you say that a productive workspace needs certain key elements. Can you share what those key elements are and
Sure.
how they can help someone stay focused and efficient?
Sure. So when we're talking about that, the 7 key elements, we're talking about your workspace, but that doesn't have to be an office. I work with a lot of retired people who they're running their life, right? The business of their life, the business of being them. So whether it's a beautiful office, whether it's your dining room table, like you said, whether, no matter what it is, in order to be truly productive and organized in dealing with your paper and your digital and all of your to-dos, first thing you need is, well, I'll start with this one because it's kind of funny because it's simple, but you need a place to put your trash, recycling, shred. I can't tell you how many times I've helped people, even in big fancy offices, and they start throwing paper on the floor because they don't have a trash can right nearby where you sit. The more of these elements that you can put right where you are, you're going to be more productive because you don't have to stop and start and get up and move. And so just put a trash can near where you work. That's number 1. Number 2, everybody needs certain what we call desktop tools. They don't even have to be desktop, but basically you need an inbox, even if it's just your home. Inboxes are for mail and papers that have not been processed. That's the key. So somewhere everybody knows to put the mail, put the papers, the kids put the papers that need to be signed. The inbox should be things that have not been looked at yet. You should also have a place to put things to be filed because, let's be honest, we're not going to get up and file everything, nor should we, right in the moment. So a place to keep your papers to be filed. And then depending on your home or your situation or your job, some people truly need an out box. They need a designated spot. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a box, but a designated spot to put papers that go elsewhere or things that go elsewhere. Some families, it's, a spot by the garage door or a bin or something like that. But if you have a lot of things that end up leaving your office or leaving your home, designate a spot for them. Just call it an outbox. The other thing that we all need, and this one is easy because most people have it, is a calendar. I don't care if it's digital or paper. People ask me that all the time. What's the best one? The best one is the one you use and that you look at and that keeps you organized. There is no one best one, but you need a calendar. The other thing that you need is some type of, if it's an office, it could be a CRM or some type of contact management. So just if it's your house, a list of addresses, just one place where if you need someone's phone number or someone's address, boom, I'm going to go look here. That saves a lot of time over the course of a year. The other thing that we all need are 2 types of files. We need action files and reference files. Reference files are what we think about in a typical file cabinet, right? They're the stuff we file away and we don't really look at, like stuff about our car, insurance papers, medical records, that type of thing. Action files are your projects, what you're currently working on, things that you need to file all the time. Like some people put receipts in one. Some people have, let's say your child is on a sports team. You might have an action file of all that information. So reference files can be away in a cabinet Action files should be front and center in some type of box or drawer on your desk. And then the last one that everyone needs is a consistent system for handling your to-dos. And I
Okay.
spend a lot of time with my clients on that one because there are a lot of different ways to do it, but you need to settle on one and stick with it, because that's what causes a lot of not just physical clutter, but mental clutter, is that I don't know how to handle all the stuff that you have to do. So those are the elements to be truly productive and organized that everybody should have.
Okay, thank you very much for the insights. I want to ask you something. Have you been sitting on a creative project or book idea for months, maybe even years? Because life just wouldn't slow down. If that sounds like you, I created something just for you. It's my standard 6 week coaching package, a focused, personalized experience designed to help you finally finish what you started. Here is how it works. For 6 weeks, we meet once a week, just you and I. You'll get a custom time plan that fits around your real life. Not some cookie cutter schedule, but something that actually works for you. You will also get email check-ins from me because I know how easy it is to fall off the track when no one is checking in. This is perfect for busy moms, writers, and entrepreneurs, or anyone who is juggling life and a dream at the same time. So, if you've been waiting for the right time, consider this your sign. Let's turn those minutes into milestones. Head over to this episode's show notes to enroll or learn more about this program.
Yes.
When you talked about the trash can for putting all your papers that you don't need, I do that when I'm cooking, but I don't do that when I'm doing my paperwork. Because when I'm cooking, I always have a bag. Like if I'm chopping veggies, I put it into the trash immediately because I hate cleanup after cooking. So I clean as I go.
Yeah. It
So
sounds
that
so
is,
simple, but
yeah, I just clean as I go, so that because sometimes some people wait until they finish cooking and then they have a pile of cleaning to do. But I just feel like for me not to be overwhelmed as I'm doing it, I am cleaning up after me. Digital clutter is a big one, even for me. It's a beast of its own.
yes. Yes.
So now, if I have over 75,000 unread emails in my inbox, should I just give up and start a new one, or is there hope? What would you say to someone drowning in digital disorganization?
Yes. Well, first of all, I would say there's definitely hope. I have seen people much worse than 75,000, 100,000, get rid of them without just declaring email bankruptcy. I've seen people get rid of them in just a couple of weeks. There are some tried and true things. The first thing I will say is if you have that much email, actually, this is true for anything. Start with the most recent. Focus on the most recent piles, the most recent email, the most recent. So whenever you're ready to start organizing whatever it is, start with the most recent. Sometimes people want to dive in and say, oh, I have all these emails from 2020, or let's go look at that file cabinet that hasn't been open in 6 years. That's the wrong approach. So always start with the most recent. And if you can train yourself to process, again, that's a big one. We don't want to ever look at email. We want to process it. There's a big difference in looking at email and being intentional with your email. So when you sit down to do email, you are processing. You're asking yourself, can I delete this? Does this need action? Does this go into one of my folders? So you are being very, very intentional with it. So start with the current. Then, depending on your email provider and email system, you can search and sort by sender, by topic, and delete en masse. I will say there is a tool out there. I'm not sponsoring them. I get no money from them, but it is one of my favorite things. And my clients love it. And that is called Maelstrom. And it's Mailstrom. Maelstrom enables you to sort by sender, by topic, by type of email, by date. And yes, you can do a lot of that within Gmail, within some of the other platforms, but there's something about Maelstrom that makes it so easy and so straightforward. And my clients usually can get all of their back email taken care of in a couple of weeks. Or I had one client that sat last year during the Super Bowl and she got rid of 68,000 just during the Super Bowl. And because it is very clear, that's why I like it. It's almost gamified because it will show you your starting inbox today and how many you deleted, how many came in, how many you sent. And it's just the easiest tool that I've found for sorting and doing a mass delete. So that's one tool I love. So I wouldn't give up. But having said that, I encourage people to, if you really are tempted to just get rid of it, I'm done with this email. I just want to just delete it all. And like I said, declare email bankruptcy. One of the things you can do is set a date for yourself. By this date, I'm going to try to bring it down, make it manageable the best I can. And then whatever is left at this date, I'm going to move into an archive folder or a folder maybe that says like emails from 2023, email 2024. And then you can just start over. And then your new intention being, I'm going to process my mail daily. I'm not going to just scroll through, ignore 30 things and never go back to it. No, it only takes half a second to delete it. So that intentionality is going to be your friend moving forward.
Thank you. So when you begin working with clients, what's the process you want them to go from chaos to clarity? Can you break
So,
that down?
yes. So thank you for asking that. I have a scorecard that I have my clients take 15 questions, gives us a baseline for where they are right now with their productivity. I also have my clients take a learning style quiz because that being my background, I do make some specific adjustments or suggestions based on if they're visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner. So we start there. And then, as I alluded to a little while ago, I have my clients, I have what I call the 4 F's. And so we do feel, fact find, formulate, and follow through. So when we start with the feel. And I have them actually take some time on this. People always want to jump in. Okay, what can we do? What can we do? Let's get started. And I really believe that that first F is important to talk about your vision for the space, your vision now, 1 year out, 5 years out. Some people, functionality is just important. Some people, the beauty of it is important. And I need to know that before we start, and they need to know that before we start. So I have a series of questions that I lead them through to find out their vision. And then the fact find is where I ask those questions and I find out, are they a do it all at once person? Are they a small chunk person? Are they a morning person? Are they a night person? Are there other people in the family that impacts? What have they tried before? So we do all that fact finding and then formulate. I help them create a plan. And sometimes it's all virtual. Sometimes I'm there with them, but either way, that's where we go next. But I do a lot of background because most of my clients have tried something in the past and it didn't work through no fault of their own. Maybe the timing wasn't right. Maybe it wasn't the right system, but it really helps me to know that.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, just for me, it's similar to like weight loss programs. I know I started this not too long ago, and the first question they asked was, have you tried any weight loss program before? And they gave us options and said, as many as possible. So because it helps them to help you plan, they know what you've tried before.
Exactly.
And then from there, they can know, okay, why didn't that work for you? So
Exactly.
what were you doing wrong? So
Yeah.
it's good to know what people have tried before and help them to know what to do
Yeah.
going forward.
I will say this though, because this is something that, and you might have even been asking me this, but one of the first things I do before we even dive into what their specific project or need is, what type of clutter, is I have them declare one clutter-free zone. So for some people, this their dining room table. For some people, it's their entryway or their kitchen counters. Even when I'm working with an office or a business client, sometimes they want to declare a clutter-free zone at home because it just makes them feel more in control. So that does a few things. It shows you, and some people do want to do their desk, and they, even if they have to temporarily box things up that were on the desk, because that helps you every day. You look at that clutter-free zone, you feel that sigh of relief, that happiness, and you know that you can do it. And every day that you maintain the clutter-free zone or you bring it back into order, let's say, life gets crazy, right? And maybe you bring it back into order that night, or maybe it's 2 days later, or maybe Friday. But every time you bring it back into order, and you take that deep breath again, it builds that muscle and that trust in yourself that, yes, I can do this. So that's the first thing I have all my clients do. And I don't care where it is. It can be the area that drives you crazy. It can be the place that you feel happy when it's clean. For me, that's my kitchen island. If I can clean that off and clean it with cleaner and make it smell good, even if there's piles elsewhere in the house, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Of this strategy, pick one spot in your home that you want to be a clutter-free zone.
Yes.
And this brings us to the last question I want to ask you. A large number of this audience are moms who are also entrepreneurs. And for these mompreneurs listening to us right now that are overwhelmed with toys on their floors, packed calendar, a mile-long mental to-do list, what is one small thing she can do today to reclaim a sense of control and calm?
A great question. First of all, I will say before I answer that it's okay.
Ah,
It's okay. Life and your level of organization are going to ebb and flow. Your level of organization now and what is considered organized is going to be very different when you're an empty nester or different
yeah,
times of your life, and that's okay. So that I'll just get that out of the way. There is, no judgment. This is a no judgment zone.
yeah.
Beyond the clutter-free zone, because that does really work, I would say one thing that you can do today is spend 10 minutes. Surprise yourself of what you can accomplish in 10 minutes to just do like an end of the day straightening up, include your kids or don't include your kids. It's up to you. Because what this does is it opens your eyes to what truly can be done in 10 minutes. You're going to feel good about it, and it's going to be motivating because it's something you can keep doing. If you'll let me say one more, I do have one more thing that really helps.
Yeah,
And that
okay.
is for at least 30 minutes of the day, do one thing. No multitasking. You're playing with your kids. You're on the phone. You're answering email. You're cooking. Try it. It really calms you down, brings you back to center. It doesn't have to be any specific thing, but for 30 minutes a day, try doing just.
Thank you. So where can this audience connect with you? How can they connect with you after today's show?
Yeah, so they can find me. I have a Facebook group that's active called Less Clutter, More Peace. That's a great place to find me. My website is conquerthechaos.com, and there's a lot of information there. If you just want to take the quiz and to download a PDF on 10 ways to get unstuck, I also have another site called Clutter to Clarity Steps. And so that's a little more simple than going and navigating the whole website.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing such freeing, practical insights into clutter. I think many of us are walking away not only with ideas, but with hope that we can conquer the chaos,
Yes.
one clear decision at a time. Because, like you said earlier on, every clutter is one decision that was not made. Yes. So, if you want to learn more about Kerry's framework or connect with her, Be sure to check the show notes for links to her website and all our courses and all Systems Go program. And if today's episode spoke to you, take a screenshot, share it on Instagram, and tag us at the Minute Mastery Podcast. Let's spread the word that clutter doesn't have to control our lives. Thanks for tuning in to the Minute Mastery Podcast. If you have found this episode helpful, please share it with someone who could use more time in their day. And remember to subscribe and leave us a review. Until next time, you are in control of your time and you've got this. And on this episode, I told you about my 6 weeks coaching package. So if you're feeling stretched in trying to grow your business while managing your home and family, you are not alone. And you don't have to figure this out on your own. This 30-minute clarity call is designed to help entrepreneurs like you pause, breathe, and get clear on where your time is going and what needs to shift. Together, we will identify your biggest time plus energy drains, map out what is keeping you stuck or overwhelmed, uncover the first step to a more balanced, aligned life. And your $47 investment will be fully credited toward my 6 weeks time reset coaching package if you choose to move forward after our session. No pressure, no hard pitch, just real talk, clarity, and a moment to focus on you. So head over to this episode show notes to sign up and to check out my guest offers too.